Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and this evening we'll have a look at the latest radar, and then we'll run through the various computer models and finally look at precipitation charts. So it looks like we're going to see an interesting pattern set up over the next week or so. It's looking very unsettled, but it's looking quite wet and even more unsettled further northwards and westwards, but drier and a little bit warmer for the south and the east. Still will be rain around in the south and east, but not really as much as the deluge we can see in the north and west. And we'll be looking through the different models and we'll see how that sort of comes about. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you do like and subscribe, and do remember to follow me on Twitter as well, links in the description. So today we've actually had quite a fine, hot and sunny day for many areas. Where I'm in the south, we got it to the mid-20s, and it was very much t-shirt and shorts weather, feeling very pleasant, and we haven't really had many days like this recently, and it was very nice. Further northwards though, in Scotland, we did have a yellow warning for thunderstorms put out, and you can see the sort of leftovers of those showers starting to fade away now. And many areas are dry, but low pressure is coming back in, especially for the north and the west. Further south and eastwards, it does look like it's going to be another dry day tomorrow. But we do have these weather fronts that you can see out, spreading into Ireland and Northern Ireland at the moment. That's going to bring some quite active rainfall into Scotland, northwest England, Wales and parts of the southwest. Probably most active in western Scotland, before slowly fizzling away as it moves eastwards through the UK, before just really having a bit of cloud and drizzle for far eastern areas. So we have to keep an eye on that through tomorrow, but beyond that, it does look like the north and the west is going to get a peppering of rain. Further southwards and eastwards, it's going to be a little bit drier. So if we do have a look at the GFS, you can see that low pressure out in the Atlantic right now, bringing its weather fronts in. And over the next couple of days, those weather fronts are going to move through, and the low pressure is just going to mill around out the Atlantic. And you see, for the south and east, we're just really close to this ridge of high pressure over Europe. Wherever further northwards and westwards are close to the low pressure, there's always going to be more showers and more conveyor belts of rain moving in. And as we head through towards this weekend, we see low pressure dominates in the north, high pressure a little bit in the south, but still not under the centre of the high, so there still could be some showers of fruit, especially through Thursday as that low pressure initially arrives. And then as we head into the weekend, we see this other low try and push in. It could reintroduce some heavy showers and thunderstorms in the south through Sunday, but still generally not as close to the centre of the low, so it can have less showers. Still, of course, showers around this weekend and into Monday as that low pressure does get closer to the south and the southeast, and eventually it does move through. But you can just see generally it's always the north and the west seeing the heaviest rain and the more persistent low pressure. As we head into the middle of next week, you see high pressure tries to build in. It does pull in a bit of a northwesterly wind, so things turning a little bit cooler, coming in off the North Sea. The air's not that cold at upper air temperatures, but towards the surface, it'll be a little bit more chilly coming in from the north. But if we look at the pressure pattern, high pressure is building in, so things are going to be turning a little bit dry. Of course, there will be some showers coming in off the North Sea and that sort of northerly wind, and probably in off the Atlantic as well, right around the edges of the high pressure. But generally, things are looking a lot drier. If we did get this high pressure a little bit further northwards and eastwards, we could start to sort of have the high sitting over the top of us, and we could start to generate some heat. But at this stage, just like winds are spiraling around this high pressure system, mixing up the air, meaning it won't really get too hot under this high pressure. Still could get mid-20s, but unlikely to get higher than that. We are getting to the uncertain time frame, and it still does look like high pressure is dominating on this latest GFS. And if you look at the upper air temperatures, not particularly cold, but not particularly warm either. Just really around average, so temperatures feeling around low 20s potentially. And then right towards the end of the run, still high pressure around, feeling quite warm and sunny, especially under that centre of the high, and really just quite a pleasant run there from the GFS. We do have a look at the ensembles later. You will see it is a little bit of an outlier, not a massive outlier, but it is on the warmer and drier end of the ensemble members. So if we do run through the ECMWF, see what that is showing, you can see that low pressure system rumbling in off the Atlantic at the moment. Then we've got another area of low pressure, a bit more active there on the ECMWF moving through, giving a bit of rain on Sunday into Monday in the south. And then beyond that, high pressure does build in on these latest ECMWF. Not a particularly strong area of high pressure, you see only 120 millibars, but it's high pressure nonetheless. And if we look at the 800 VHPA temperatures, reasonably warm, at the upper levels, but nothing massively hot, so temperatures again low to mid 20s potentially there. So very similar to the GFS in the longer term, and hopefully this high pressure outlook will sort of come a little bit more into the models over the next few days, and into the ensembles as well, and we can start to firm it up as an idea in sort of a 7 to 10 day time frame. If we finally have a look at the GEM, you can see the low pressure coming in off the Atlantic, especially rain in the north and west, and then that low pressure moves in, again bringing showers in the south, but it does move through reasonably quickly, and by sort of Tuesday we're in a sort of a northerly flow, potentially putting in showers, especially for eastern areas close to that low pressure. Not particularly cold at 850 HPA, but towards the surface probably be a little bit chilly with the winds coming from the north. And by day 10 we're starting to build high pressure, but it's building a little bit further westwards, so we've got a bit more of a northerly wind, being a little bit more chilly, coming in from the north. Hopefully if we did get that high pressure to sort of build over the top of the UK, it would cut all of the showers out and potentially things would turn a little bit hotter. But again, very similar patterns between all three models at day 10, with high pressure looking like it's going to dominate a little bit more, making things a little bit more dry and a bit warm for many areas, but probably at this stage definitely favouring the south. If we do have a look at the GFS ensembles, you can see that well reflected on the London ensembles. Temperatures rising over the next few days to being around a couple of degrees above average. It means temperatures are going to be around mid-20s or so. Again, t-shirt, shorts weather for many areas in the south. We do have our precipitation signals picking up towards this weekend, potentially for a bit of rain as those low pressure systems sort of mill around. We get that small little feature coming up in the south, and then of course a few showers around. But you can see generally things are quite dry. There are a few on rainfall spikes with the ensemble members, but nothing is particularly high or frequent. So a lot of the ensemble members do have high pressure dominating. If you look at the temperatures, a lot of scatter, because it really does depend on the orientation of the high pressure that does look like it's going to be building in from around day 10, maybe a little bit earlier, and you can see a lot of scatter. By the end of the run, some ensemble members get up to around 20 degrees at 850 HP, which would give 30 plus degrees, others around 2 to 4 degrees, which would be pretty chilly in the high to teens. So we'll just keep an eye on the temperatures, but it's definitely looking like pretty high pressure dominated, potentially. Again, still some precipitation spikes, and we'll have to iron those out before we can definitely say it's going to be dry, but it's looking encouraging. However, if we go further northwards and westwards towards Glasgow, we can see a lot more precipitation spikes. You can see temperatures around average, maybe a touch above average towards the middle of this ensemble run, but you can see a lot of rainfall spikes. Even when we do have to sort of have that high pressure coming in on some of the ensemble members, you can see it's not all. A lot of the ensemble members still have a lot of rain around, symbolic of low pressure further northwards and high pressure in the south. So we'll just have to keep an eye on how this does develop and how much high pressure can dominate in the mid to long term. But for now, the next 7 days definitely does look like in the south and the east looking a lot drier, a little bit warmer. Further northwards and westwards still quite miserable really, with a lot of rain and cooler temperatures. So if we do have a look at the icon run, if we do run through that briefly, you can see it well reflected, as we do have those weather fronts moving in overnight into tomorrow morning. Quite a wet rush hour tomorrow morning in many western areas, with that very heavy rain in the north and the west. But it is fizzling out, especially as it heads eastwards. Maybe a bit of drizzle through Thursday night and a bit of cloud through eastern areas. So although the weather front does make it through, it is very much diminished in strength, bringing a bit of cloud through. And then again, another deluge moves in. But again, further northwards and westwards. The rain tomorrow could be very active. You can see those very bright colours. Could see maybe 20 millimetres or so, maybe even some a bit more in a few locations. And then again, more rain moves through. And by Friday, we do see rain again in the north and west. Showers packing in. Maybe a bit of showers in the south with low pressure around. That's always a possibility. And then by Sunday, we do see some more rain move southwards, and that's where that little low pressure system moves through. Very brief sort of low pressure system that does move through. So hopefully that rain won't be too long in the south, but generally, of course, drier in the south and the east than in the north and the west. And if we do have a look at the precipitation accumulations, it's well reflected. For the south and the southeast, you can see very minimal rainfall totals. Further northwards and westwards, we're seeing around inch or two of rain. So we should have to keep an eye on that. It is really the far west, as you can see, parts of West Midlands only seeing a trace of rain. Parts of North West seeing maybe 15, 20 millimetres of rain. and parts of West Wales as well, say maybe 10-15 millimetres of rain. So we'll just have to keep an eye on how far east these weather fronts do progress, but at this stage it does look encouraging that many parts of England and Wales, and even parts of Ireland as well, do look like they're going to be reasonably dry over the next sort of 5 days or so. If we do finally run through the UK Met Office run, you can see the showers in northern Scotland, northeast Scotland, slowly dissipating, and then see the weather fronts moving in. Pretty active, these weather fronts could give a lot of rain in a few locations, especially in western Scotland over the hills and the mountains. Weather fronts do move eastwards, but slowly fizzle out as they do, maybe a bit of drizzle elsewhere. Beyond that, we do see again active fronts and heavy rain moving into the north and west, and further southwards and eastwards, very dry. But by Friday, maybe a small system of rain moving through Friday afternoon. Not seen on the Icon Run, or at least not seen as significant on the Icon Run. So we'll have to keep an eye on what happens with these showers. But very brief and moves through. By Saturday, things are looking dry once again. And then again, we see more heavy rain spreading through the north and the west, and many areas of England remaining reasonably dry through this period. So we'll just have to keep an eye on what sort of rain bands do develop, but it does look like, especially in the northwest, it's going to be rain on weather fronts after weather fronts. So it's not going to be great. There will be some respite every day, maybe for a bit of time, but it does look like there's always another band of rain ready in the Atlantic to move in. So if we run through the temperatures, if we have a look at Wednesday afternoon, you can see temperatures again in the far south and the southeast, and even parts of East Anglia, and maybe even northeastern parts, getting up to 21, 22 widely, maybe even 23, 24, or maybe a touch warmer if we do see continuous sunshine. And then through into Thursday, you can see temperatures getting a little bit cold overnight, especially in Scotland, where we do have cooler upper air temperatures. By Thursday afternoon, we're seeing temperatures, again, around 24, 25 degrees in the south and the east. Further northwards, a little bit cooler, especially as we do have rain moving through. By Friday afternoon, things again, 21, 22, 23 degrees in the far south and the east. And elsewhere, still in the mid to high teens. And then by Saturday, once again, warmer in the south and the southeast, with temperatures getting to around sort of 23, 24 degrees once again, but widely mid to high teens. And then by Sunday, again, pretty warm in the east and northeast, maybe 26 degrees there, where it's dry, but further westwards, a little bit cooler, especially in Scotland. So you can see, especially in the east and the south, it is looking like we could be seeing quite a few decent days. There will always be the risk of showers, of course, and there will be some more cloud at times where weather fronts do move through. And then we've got to keep an eye on Friday as well, as the UK Met Office run was showing some heavier rain moving through. But generally, it is looking fairly pleasant. Not amazing August weather, but a lot better than what we've had recently. But in the north and west, it does unfortunately look like this sort of deluge pattern is going to be continuing. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.